Okay, we're back with Brant Clark. We had to take a restroom break, and I had to refresh. Brant changed his hat.
Cheers, mate. And my shirt sponsored by C-Moto 48, Glen Helen.
See, that's C-Moto 48. That's your brother, right?
Of course.
Of course. There you go. So I think last time where we leave off, we left off at Peter Yee.
Yeah. Again, the only Korean BMX rider I ever knew. Yeah.
That's
I think
nice.
he actually let me smell a jar of kimchi in the pits one time. And yeah. And I think that was a race psych out because I nearly vomited.
Every time I bring up main bikes on any of the forums, everybody always asks me, "Oh yeah, Peter Yee rode for main bikes." I'm all, did he? So he must be the most popular main bike rider that ever was, because everyone knows who Peter Yee is or was. Hey,
Yeah.
did you guys ever race Orange White?
Only a couple times.
How'd you
Only a
do down
couple.
there?
I think I was like even going down there by myself when I went down there. Like I was old enough, 16X, that I was going down there by myself without my mom and or my brother. Um, I would always make the main, but uh,
I never raced Orange White.
like I think literally like third was the best I ever got there. I would get fourth, fifth all the time out of 8 guys. But Orange was a tough track. Yeah, for me anyway, because
For everybody.
I didn't race it often, you know. And
What kind of car did you have back then? You had a bug or a truck, or what'd you have?
yeah, or I had Rhonda driving me in their MG.
Who's Rhonda again?
That was as you said, or what'd you call his nickname? Boo. Yeah,
Boo, yeah.
yeah, that was Rodney Schroeder, and yeah, that was a sordid incident that, uh, uh, however, this all came about. But
You don't
uh,
have to get into details, but you had some sort of fling.
yeah,
Nice, nice.
yeah,
She took it down there. So you stopped racing right after I started, and then at some point you migrated to GT with the rest of the brothers, right?
yeah, yes,
So for those who don't know, Brant worked at GT. Brant's brother worked at GT, and my brother worked at GT for a long time. And I'm the only one that didn't work at GT. So how did you get in with GT?
uh, my brother and your brother. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have gotten in like where I started when it was Right Way, the parts distributor, and all I was a parts puller, and they had separate guys that were pulling bikes. You know what I mean? Pulling complete bikes. Um, you know how that goes in the industry. So from there, I moved up rapidly, as I always have in whatever position I had, to the receiving department. And then from there, like the shipping and receiving department, unloading containers, verifying that, you know, dude, I was like unpacking containers and finding like Taiwanese guys, members only jackets with half smoked pack of cigarettes, like Taiwanese cigarettes that I couldn't even read the chicken tracks on the cigarette pack, that they must have thrown up on a box while they took a break and then came back to reload the container and the guy forgot his jacket. Yeah,
That's funny,
funny
man.
stuff. And then from there, I went to uh, purchasing in their um, uh, USA made factory shop where GT was actually welding up frames. I was in charge of buying the material and the aluminum in the quality that they needed, making deals with Alcoa for all these different shape tubes for different stuff, including titanium, and then dealing with the welders. After the material was bought and all brought in, scheduling, all the cutting and how that was going to be done, and then all the welding up, and then going through the racks of frames before they went to heat treat and on to powder coating. A really in-depth process, and it was. I was happy to do it, bro. It was,
Your brother ran the warehouse. Did you have to work for your own brother?
At a certain point, I was working for him and Gus. Yeah. And then when I moved on to the frame shop, they had no jurisdiction, if you will, over me. Yeah.
Dude, I don't know what it's like working for your brother. I couldn't work for my brother.
Dude, and that was I know it's you got it. It's, hey, brothers, like,
You and Corey more so than Brian and I, but yeah.
About
you guys were always at each other.
We'll do a triple double on that, and I don't even like basketball, but I'll use that reference.
One time I went mountain biking with the guys from GT, and who was the VP in charge of like Mark? Who was number two? Richard Long was number one. Who was number two? Do you remember?
Well, number one was Gary Turner, and then Richard Long, and
there was another short guy, real well liked.
There was two other guys,
kind of like a GQ looking guy.
Yeah, and one of them is your brother's wife's dad.
Yes.
Down the line,
uncle.
And and the other guy, Bill During. That's who it is. Bill During.
Who started Felt, obviously.
From where I remember. And those guys, in the end, and everything went to Felt, and your brother stayed with it. My brother went to Troy Lee, and now your brother's riding around in the Himalayas, for crying out loud.
The reason why I was asking was because there was a guy that was like number 2 or 3 at GT at the time, and they were on a mountain bike ride up in Brown Mountain, up where your mom lived or you worked, right up above JPL. And my brother invited me on this mountain bike ride, and I was riding like a maniac downhill, and I kept passing everybody, and I pissed off this one guy at GT. He was like an executive, and my brother caught shit for like 3 years after that. Like, dude, your brother's a fucking idiot, man. I messed up my brother's career path.
Yeah, if I have to drop a name and like reflect back to who you might have passed, it would have been a guy named Bob Brasini.
No, it wasn't Bob Brasini. I heard him.
Okay.
What wasn't Bob Brasini like in charge of like sales for GT or something like that? Or no?
No, he was one of the sales guys, like not in charge, but I think like selling big deals to dealers, big lots of bikes.
Do you remember Finkenbeiner?
Who?
Finkenbeiner.
No, that
Finkenbeiner? No, he was a sales guy for GT.
No, that doesn't.
Oh, okay. When I had my bike shop, he was working for Nerve, and he came in, and I go, Finkenbeiner, did you work for GT? He's like, yeah. So we became kind of close, and he told me that his great grandfather won the Congressional Medal of Honor in like the Civil War, and it was kind of a cool story.
Yeah.
He worked for So anyway, so you work for GT, and then at some point you become a pool boy, taking care of old ladies. But what but you did meet. I mean, tell me about this bike that I posted pictures of your bike. I posted pictures of your bike in the past on BMX Museum. Some people knew about it, some people didn't know. This bike is pretty special, dude. Well, tell me how you came across this thing, or what is it, or what was the story on it?
All right. We'll try to, as my brother would say, keep it brief, concise, and to the point. Um, this was or not was, this is one of a kind bike that was developed at GT Bicycles by Billy Griggs and whoever else he had involved below him at the time, right? And this was a experimental bike with it's a 20-inch bike with uh, a Fox rear suspension that has like that Xbox rear GT swing arm. And it's got a elastomer air combo fork. That was the technology at that time. And as you see that bottom bracket that is a oscillating bottom bracket, um, which was, all of that stuff was new at its time. And so, yeah, it was a one of a kind bike that Billy Griggs built for Interbike for Jeremy McGrath, uh, basically building a replica of his Mazda Chaparral #1 championship winning bike. And um, uh, yeah, it was years and years ago. And after BMX, I happened to, being on eBay, see this as a lifelong McGrath fan, see this thing for sale and see who was selling it. And the seller was Mr. Bill, right? So,
But you didn't know Billy Riggs before that.
absolutely, I did. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why I knew Mr. Bill. It's got to be Billy Griggs. So his roommate Vince Calvillo was the best man at my wedding. So yeah. Anyway, so I contacted Billy and I said, "Hey man, I really want to buy this thing from you, but I can't give you all this money you're asking for on eBay right now, but I'll give you every penny of it. Let me just make payments." And he was like, "Dude, I know you're a collector and I know you're not going to ride this thing into the dirt and it's going to, you know, disintegrate." So he was like, "I would much rather sell it to you as a collector that's going to keep it nice and pristine." So he graciously worked that deal out for me. And I made him, I think it was like 2 or 3 payments. And then I actually had my brother, who's in Cali, in Corona, drive over to Billy's house and pick up the bike, take it back to his house in Corona, break it down, pack it up in a bicycle box, and ship it out to me in Florida. Yeah.
Nice.
So,
So
yeah. And
you've
that's
had it for
one of my,
years, and now you've made the decision that you might want to part with it.
yeah, it's thank you, Biden inflation. I'm I've got to let go of some items, and I've had it around for a while. If there's somebody that has the passion like I do for GT bicycles and is into a one of a kind bike, uh, you know, uh, by all means, give them my Instagram page, which is the Moto Collector at or at the Moto Collector on Instagram.
Okay. So you
and
and your brother collect a lot of motocross stuff, right?
yeah, we're both.
Who has the better jersey collection?
I'm gonna say my brother.
I've seen some of his stuff, man. It's crazy the amount of jerseys. But with all fairness, he had access to a lot more riders than you did, right?
That's absolutely correct, and he has hooked me up with a lot of some of the good stuff that I have, and the whole like fucking 20-year relationship with Troy Lee Designs, getting me 2-3 custom helmets painted a year. You know, we could do a whole episode on my custom painted helmets from Troy Lee.
We
Like
will.
I've got 2 full bedrooms in a 3-bedroom house completely packed with motocross and collectibles, from toys to everything else. My brother, he's into jerseys, you know, and like very, very recently, now that people are into whole sets of gear, he's may include a pair of pants. But my brother's thing is traveling the world, going to motocross nations, supporting the US, and oh my God, how can you not support that dude? Yeah.
Yeah.
C-Moto 48.
And
Doing it for the US.
For full disclosure, your brother was one of my groomsmen.
Yeah.
You weren't around.
Yeah, I know. But
So
I wasn't.
who's faster on a motocross bike? You or your brother?
You're my brother. Let me
You're
say
both
that
faster?
as fastly. Let me say that as quickly as I can. My brother.
You asked me the same question.
I
My
know the answer. I'll spare you the embarrassment.
It's not even close, dude.
But speaking of embarrassments,
I knew it was coming. Go ahead.
All right, because this might have got lost in translation in some earlier episodes. But here's the reason why I joined BMX Hunters. Not only because I've been, I'm going to call it a lifelong at this point. I'm 56. I've known Kevin, like I said, as long as I can remember.
Junior high.
Yeah. So I'm 56. It's obviously 40 years plus by the time you get there, and do the math. So yeah, it's I've just been a lifelong collector of moto and BMX, and your infinite knowledge, or as I would say, venerable plethora of 80s BMX knowledge. That's what initially drew me to your channel. But what made me
Here it comes.
smash.
Here it comes.
I'll take one with you, brother. Thanks for letting me do this. Again, even. And don't swallow it now while we're laughing. So this is what made me smash the subscribe button. My longtime buddy, I see a few vids. He starts a video channel. He's going on talking about BMX stuff that I was there. I lived it with him back in the 80s. I know are fact and not fake news. And I'm like, yeah, this right on, Kevin. Way to go. And then all of a sudden, in one of his videos, he started choking and gagging on his denture. And at that point, I said, that's comedy gold. He stepped through that shit like Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly. We'll do it live. We're going to do it live. Fuck it. So, I mean,
that is embarrassing, man. But I thought I deleted that video.
Legendary. Yeah, I saw it before you deleted it. But again, that was like, all right, Kevin's going some places. I need to jump on this bandwagon.
Hey,
Fucking
that's not nearly as bad as the ones I did when I was 310 pounds. So I'd rather be 260 and with a denture than 310 with a denture.
wait, what? 360? How the hell
I was 310 pounds in some of those videos.
dude, I've been 159 pounds to that wasn't a fart. I'm scooting back in my wood chair on the tile. 159 pounds in high school to like 162. Not
Nice, dude.
trying to suck shit. You can't suck that in that far. But
that's a body of a pool man.
Yeah, right. Where's the tan line from the t-shirt? Right? Jesus Christ, I look like Freddy Krueger right now.
You look like dude, you have a remarkable resemblance to Stu Thompson, dude.
Yeah. All right.
A younger Stu Thompson. Dude, when this video comes out, I'm gonna ask people to comment if you look like Stu Thompson. You look exactly like him.
Oh no, and here's
dude.
Yeah, here's my Stu Thompson comment. Back in the day, speaking of Lacey Park, Bubba's dad hired Stu Thompson to train Bubba, and Bubba took Stu out to Lacey Park, where me, my brother, I think your brother, at least someone else besides Grant Inman, who lived right there in San Marino by Lacey Park, and maybe even one other guy. And Bubba rolls up at the jumps that were like, we were in the like maintenance department where we're pedaling up to giant piles of mulch and shit, right? And jumping big doubles and mulch. And Bubba rolls in there with
Stu Thompson.
Stu fucking Thompson. Yeah.
He used to piss me off. So he used to say, when he lived across the street from me, he used to say, "Oh man, tonight I'm going out. I'm going over to Stu's house. We're gonna train." I was like, "You're such a dick, dude." I'm like, he made it sound like they were friends, dude. I didn't know that he was paying him to train him.
Yeah, there was another guy. I forget his name right now, but was Factory Murray back in the day. If you mention his name, I'm sorry?
Scott Clark?
No. I would have remembered a Clark. Jesus. Come on now.
Jeff Botima?
No. No, I think he was almost
Toby
like
Henderson.
Huh? No,
Toby
he was
Henderson?
almost like a red-haired dude.
That's Jeff Botima, dude.
No, it wasn't him, and it wasn't like one of the most classic names I'll ever remember from 80s BMX. Okay. Rusty Cable. Right.
So what about him? He brought him too?
No. But there was a guy that raced BMX in the 80s. And his name was Rusty Cable.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that.
But yeah, I can't remember and it wasn't Sean Murray. I remember that. But anyway, we'll move on from that.
The funny part, a funny story is, I'm actually I'm Facebook friends with Stu Thompson, and I sent him a message one day a couple years ago. I go, did you really hang out with Tim Kirsten? Because he used to tell us all the time he's going over to your house to train, and Stu never responded to my message. So I figured, okay, it must be true, whatever. He didn't want to talk about it. But yeah, he used to go, "Oh, dude, I'm training with Stu tonight." And I'm like, "You're such a dick, dude." He used to piss me off.
Yeah, it was a guy that, like I said, I have those years and years of boxes of like from 79 through like 89 of BMX magazine, BMX Plus, Bicycle Motocross Action, Bicycles and Dirt, all the different magazines. I've got boxes and boxes of those, dude, with some of the most classic legends of BMX. And again,
what's your favorite party shot?
parting shot.
You know, at the end of BMXA when they had the last
Yeah,
picture.
yeah, I know. It's like the centerfold of a Playboy for a BMX guy. I feel you. I know. uh, I
Do
might
you
have to
remember
think
the
of.
one with? Do you remember the one with Scott Brayhop jumping off the house in the pool?
Yeah,
That was my
yeah,
favorite.
yeah,
And Perry Kramer's underneath it looking up, going, "Whoa!"
yeah.
Oh my
I
god!
I'm gonna have to reserve a comment on that one for another episode. But yeah, that's a good question. What's your favorite yeah, parting shots? That's a good one. There's so many, bro. From uh, you know, whips that progressed motocross from BMX, you know what I mean? To uh just like you said, just uh shove it in there, make the move, and get the win. You know.
You were much smoother than I was. I was a little bit more rough. I remember you being your whole thing was just being smooth, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was all about uh, stay low uh, and finesse.
You race
Like,
like a cat, like always diving on the inside, kind of being sneaky in the turns. I remember
yeah,
that.
it was recognize your opportunities and take advantage of them. And
Yeah.
yeah, I never raced anybody dirty. You know what I mean? Hey, but you know, I did have my elbow banging with Bubba and Dave Wilson in some first turns at Azusa and Monrovia that would lead to some other stories where uh, me and Bubba stood up and uh, we're about to fucking fisticuffs. And my mom and Bubba's dad are yelling, "The points! The points! Get on your bikes and fucking ride. Stop fucking fighting. You guys are fucking best friends." It was so legendary. Yeah.
That's classic, man. All right, dude. Well, I think I got the sign that I got to sign off here. I got to take my wife somewhere. But Brand, dude, it's been a pleasure, bro. Thank you.
Always, Kevin. Dude, call me back. Post that GT bike. Let people know it's for sale. Do what you can to maybe even dig into the industry with your brother and find out a value. And as far as for me, I'm not letting it go for less than $5,000 as a one of a kind. What it is, but I will entertain offers. Uh, so yeah, make
Why?
whatever you can do, greatly appreciated.
Just out of curiosity, why didn't McGrath take the bike? Why did Billy keep it?
Because it was uh, GT Bikes Interbike show in Vegas, and that was their property.
Oh, so
McGrath,
they didn't give it to him. They just wanted to
yeah,
show it to him.
yeah, McGrath was there and posed with the bike and all the magazine shoots that you've seen. Which, hey, if anybody has that magazine and they don't want to buy the bike, I'll buy the magazine that has all the pics in it because it's out there. I've seen them from a guy from Australia. But yeah,
That's why.
it's a truly one of a kind. Um, and only the right person is going to want it, and that's who I'm going to sell it to. Just like Billy Griggs did to me as a BMX legend, and he saw that I was a collector and was like, "Yeah, I want to sell it to you, someone that's going to keep it and not, like I said before, ride it into the ground and you know, it's going to end up in somebody's shed as a rusted, you know, fuck all. So,
Nice.
yeah,
100%.
it's, as you said, one of those lost gems from GT that it does exist. I do have it. Unfortunately, it's for sale, and fuck off Biden inflation. And thank you, uh, constitutional carry in Florida. So if
There
you
you
think,
go, man.
so if you think you're coming
I'll be
by,
in Florida with you in 10 years, bro.
right on.
All right, Brant, take it slow, brother. Don't work too hard, and we'll talk to you next time.
Peace out, Kevin. Thanks a lot, man.
Peace
I
out, dude.
appreciate the time on BMX Hunters.
Peace.